What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So I did send another email out for the Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway last night for Sunday after giving the other winner quite a while to respond back. They didn't, so we're on to the next person. We will get it figured out eventually, I guess, to whoever decides to actually respond as we go through. And hopefully we get that soon so we can announce that. But of course, that game console giveaway is also on, so you can check that out down below. I had some people ask me about that, so if you have all the consoles, I guess you could just get a credit to whatever store you want as well for that same amount. So we'll go with that because people were curious about what happens if you already have all the consoles. Anyway, though, today we have a few things to go over. One, we got the Smash Bros. Numbers, sort of, especially for the UK, which seems to be an okay territory for Nintendo. Definitely not the strongest, but yeah, we found out about the charts, and, well, spoiler, Smash absolutely destroyed it. And we're going to go over that because this looks to be the biggest Smash launch ever. And I think we're going to get something from Nintendo soon if we haven't already this morning. We also have to take a look at a fan translation that's been in the works for a long time. I'd say it's been about 5 years, so a lot of stuff to go over. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, do hit the like button. It does help out. We're going to start with some quick news. We're going to start with some trademarks, actually, by Nintendo. Now, we talk about trademarks occasionally because they're interesting to see what's going on with game companies, see if they have anything in mind for, I don't know, a future release, a future remake or remaster. Well, Japanese Nintendo actually spotted a couple of different trademarks, one for Mario Galaxy and one for Metroid Other M. And it seems to be for game download services specifically that they point out. Now, could this be them remastering either of them or releasing them separate from, say, the Wii? It's possible. Now, what's interesting is Mario Galaxy has technically already released on a Shield device in China, so it already runs on the Tegra fine, and I've wondered for a while now if Nintendo would think about going back to their Wii library of games, which had a lot of games. We talked about Skyward Sword. Would Other M be received the same way, though? That's something I'm not sure of, because Other M was very controversial. A lot of people didn't like that game. Some people did. But Mario Galaxy, everyone liked that game. It's a great game. That's one that I would like to actually see leave the Shield in China, that specific one, and kind of show up elsewhere, because that would be a really cool game to have portably on the Switch, or of course for people who maybe didn't play the Wii that much, didn't play the Wii U, and oh, a new Mario game, yeah, I guess I'll buy. I mean, let's be real, it's gonna sell. New Super Mario Bros., for example, that's gonna sell, so I would like to see Galaxy come over, why not? Also, we had the Kinda Funny Games showcase, which we're gonna go over later on in the show, but there was one announcement I wanted to kind of separate from it because this is a game that's very, very interesting to me, and I'm looking forward to it. And we found out that it is coming west, so it's going to be leaving Japan and coming over here, which is awesome. And that is Project Judge. Remember we heard about that game? It looked interesting. It's supposed to be kind of like a courtroom drama / action / detective game. And it's done by the people who make Yakuza, which at that point, yeah, I'm in. I want to see this game. And we heard that it was going to be coming out in December, mid-December in Japan, but no word of a Western release until now. Not only that, they've also kind of revised the title for the Western audience, where it's just called Judgement. And yeah, it's showing up mid-2019. We're looking at a summer 2019 release for this game. They shared a new trailer where you're kind of hunting down a serial killer, it seems, and it looks outstanding. Like, I am really on board with this game, and I want to see more about it. I definitely want to pick it up in summer of 2019. Maybe I'll see if Sega wants to send over a code for it so I can check it out. But good to hear that it is coming over. And that was actually a really big announcement for them to have on the Kinda Funny Games showcase. So good for them. Also, we're going to touch quickly on a topic that is, it's weird. So if you don't know, the closed alpha is going on for Anthem. There was a closed alpha, for example, for Sea of Thieves, and there was an NDA for that where you couldn't share footage or even really talk about it outside of things with bug reports and different things where you talk to developers about what you're seeing and what the issue is that you're having. Well, Anthem is technically doing that now, and while people can't really show gameplay footage or even talk about their opinions in great detail, someone actually decided to break NDA and stream it. This is actually on Twitch, and I don't know why you would do that, because it seems like you're going to get in trouble. Breaking an NDA is no joke. And after they decided to stream it on Twitch, after a little bit of time, they were completely logged off of Origin and they lost access to the alpha. Now, they tried to make it seem like they had lost access to all of their games. However, if you look up the username that they were flashing on screen, there's no real games that are actually purchased of value. So it seems like that didn't actually happen. What seems to have happened here is EA kicked them out of the closed alpha, which yeah, if they're streaming your game, you're going to do that. And honestly, that's getting off light for breaking an NDA. I don't know if you guys know as much about NDAs, but generally the consequences that they outline in those things are life-altering. So if all they did was get kicked out of Anthem, honestly, if all they did was lose their games, that's actually getting off pretty light, because usually they come after you with a lawsuit. And with some of the quick news out of the way, let's jump into the bigger stuff. We're going to start with Smash Bros. Ultimate. And yes, it lit up the charts in the UK as we'd expect. We're expecting big numbers in Japan, whether it's through the Switch hardware or just the game itself. We're expecting big numbers. And after what we've seen in the UK, I fully expect Nintendo to release some sort of press release, a statement of some kind, like we got with Pokemon. Do you remember? Let's Go said, oh, we've sold 3 million copies in like half a week or something like that. I expect Nintendo to come out with a big number and saying we sold X amount of millions over this many days, I guess the opening weekend. Let's take a look at the top 10 from the UK, starting with, yes, none other than Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 1. That is the new entry, and it took over number 1, and it actually knocked FIFA 19 below Red Dead Redemption 2. So Red Dead is number 2, FIFA 19 is now number 3, Battlefield 5 at 4, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was actually a bundle with some of the Switch units, and that jumped all the way up to 5 from 9. Just Cause 4 is brand new at number 6. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 got kicked way down the charts, down to 7 from number 3. Spyro the Reignited Trilogy there at 8. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu at 9. And then Fortnite The Deep Freeze bundle, which is insane to me that that's there, at number 10. So let's talk quickly about numbers. This game, Smash Bros. Ultimate, is up 302% from the Wii U Smash Bros. Yeah, that's insane. All right, you don't, okay, so you're saying, oh, it's the Wii U. Yeah, of course it's gonna do that. Okay, it's up 233% from the 3DS. It's insane. All right, so how about we go back to the Wii? It's up 62.5% from the Wii. Yeah, Smash Bros. Brawl. This is the fastest selling Smash Bros. Game in the UK for the franchise's history. This is the best selling Smash Bros. And you know what? I think this is going to pretty much translate across the world. I think this is going to be the fastest selling Smash Bros. Game of all time. It's going to happen. It's going to get out of control. And I do think this is going to also push those Switch numbers up like crazy. I mean, think about it. People are buying Smash who probably don't even have a Switch. So they're probably buying Smash and they're like, well, I guess I'll get a Switch. So we're going to see these numbers come out from Media Create. And that's going to give us an idea. We're going to hear about the NPD sales, of course, midway through January. And then at the end of January, we're going to hear from Nintendo themselves about where they are in accordance to their 20 million prediction. But Smash is insane. This is out of control. It's going to pass Mario Odyssey, which was an extremely fast-selling Switch game. Remember, that hit like 9 million in like, what was it, like 2 months, a month and a half, something like that. I think this is going to do better than that. It's going to do better than that in a hurry. Smash is making a massive impact on Nintendo sales, and I'm not surprised at all to see this. It's big. It is showing up on the Switch, grabbing the 3DS audience and the Wii U audience and jamming them together. It makes sense. Now, as for Just Cause, that's not a terrible place for it, although it is down from previous iterations. Remember, this is all physical, though. So for Smash, for example, we're not even counting digital sales here. This is crazy. Now they don't count digital sales usually, but we know the Switch is getting a lot of digital sales for their big releases. Still, though, physical sales are doing very well despite that. So we'll hear from Nintendo. I expect a press release. If there wasn't already one this morning, we'll probably hear about this midway through the week, maybe even Tuesday or Wednesday. So we'll see, but keep an eye out for that because Smash is, it's taken over, and I kind of start to get an idea as to why Matt from the MPDs kept saying that the Switch was still his pick to be the best-selling system this year in the MPDs, despite the PlayStation 4 leading the way the entire time. Because Pokemon, Smash, and then the Evergreen titles all going into Christmas, that could push the Switch over the top. Next up, let's talk about the Kinda Funny Games showcase, because there was a lot, I mean a lot of stuff here. We're not gonna have time to go over all of it, so we're gonna go back and read through it, but they announced like 60-something games or something and just updates on different games. It was insane. Now, a lot of them were smaller indie games, like we just talked about Project Judge. That's a bigger game, obviously, but a lot of them were smaller indie games. We got updates that fans were really looking forward to. For example, The Walking Dead. People have been asking about, will they get episode 3 and 4 from the final season? And we heard that Robert Kirkman actually picked it up with his studio to get it done, and we got a release date for it. I know, it's pretty cool to hear about all this happening because it's actually getting done for fans of the series, especially ones that paid money for like the full, the full season, yeah, we're getting it. And that is actually showing up the 15th of January. So yeah, January 15th, it's coming. It's actually a bit sooner, I guess, than I thought, considering everything that went down. However, we did find out that they had written most of that. It was basically done. Episode 3 was pretty much done, and then episode 4 was already written, so there was still some work to do there. But yes, January 15th, Super Meat Boy Forever is coming out in April 2019 for the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and the PC. Celeste and Windjammers, both of them, they're both getting physical releases. Those are going to be through limited run games. December 21st for Windjammers, so like a week and a half from now, a little more than that. And then Celeste is getting it January 1st of 2019. I know I talk about how it's annoying that physical releases come after the games have already released digitally, but Windjammers is one that I'm going to go ahead and grab from limited run games, and I know there's a lot of people who are big Celeste fans that'll be all over that game. So I understand some collectors are like, yeah, I want it anyway, let's get it. The Messenger, which was my indie game of the year, is getting free DLC. It's called Picnic Panic. They showed some of the gameplay, talked about new bosses, and that's coming next year. It's a free DLC. The game has done very, very well, and I'm really happy to hear there's going to be more for me to play after I've completely finished that game. It's really neat to hear that. Toe Jam and Earl also made an appearance back in the groove. The release date there, March 1st, 2019. So Toe Jam and Earl fans can rejoice. Yes, it's showing up in March. It's pretty cool to see that series, by the way, still around in 2019 after it being a game I played back on the Genesis. I'm very happy to see it coming back. I also want to touch on just the showcase in general. Kinda Funny Games did an outstanding job on this. I mean, think about Kinda Funny Games compared to a bigger outlet like an IGN or any of those places. They're a smaller group, but they put on a show. And they did this because originally PlayStation Experience wasn't happening, so they want to do some kind of showcase, and you got to give them credit. This was an outstanding way to end the year with all these announcements and updates, and it was really cool to see. So great job to them. They did an awesome showcase there, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And all of these updates, the Messenger, Project Judge coming west, and then we of course hear about Toe Jam and Earl, The Walking Dead. A lot of cool stuff there to look forward to. And our last bit of news, let's talk about Ni no Kuni, the original one, not even 2. Now, if you remember this game, I played it specifically on the PS3 and I really liked it. But one thing I didn't really know much about was that there was a DS version specifically in Japan, which means it never was translated to English, so I wouldn't have really been able to play it anyway. And unfortunately, it never left Japan. It's still there. But fans really wanted to play this game in English, so we had to rely on a fan translation that was being worked on right around the beginning of 2014, maybe a little before. That translation has now completed. It's done. You can actually download it yourself if you want to do it, and you can actually load it up in an emulator if you want. You can patch, I guess, your copy. Maybe you have it on your R4 card or what. The DS is pretty much legacy at this point, so I think most people understand that, and they have no real thoughts to take a DS game, localize it, and bring it over to the US or anywhere else in the world other than Japan. So, hey, if you have the game and it's in Japanese and you want to play it with English, text and setup and everything, you can do that. So if you get the patch, you can then apply it to your specific copy, whether you have one or your ROM, and then you can play through it. It's pretty cool to see this. Again, this is kind of where we are with certain games that don't leave really Japan. We had this with, there was a sequel to the Pokemon trading card game, and I liked the Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy back in the day, but the second one never left Japan. And then finally it was fan translated, and finally I was able to play through it in English. It was just a game that I actually liked playing back in the day, and it was cool to finally see that game get translated, because it's hard to play through these type of games, text-heavy RPGs in Japanese. It's not easy. But there you go, Ni no Kuni on the original DS. You can now play in English. You just got to patch the ROM. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button. It does help out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today, whether it is Smash Bros. Sales. What do you think about just the amount that it's selling right now? Because it is out of control. It took over the UK. We'll see if it stays there at #1 next week. I have a feeling because we're going into Christmas, it will. But let me know what you think about that, and what do you think it's going to do in the Media Create sales that we'll find out on Wednesday. I'm thinking some big numbers there. And also, what did you think about the Kinda Funny Games showcase, and what was your favorite announcement there? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.